What it do, T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and today I'm going to give my raw reaction to Maurice Butterscotch Scott interview that he did with Carlos King last week that has been making its rounds. I have yet to watch this full interview. I've just seen bits and pieces on social media. So I just want to see what this buffoon has to say and just give my 2 cents. So let's get right into it.
Another season. We got to get into what's been happening between you and Kimmy this season, because I don't know if you have been aware of a lot of people now giving you the side eye, Maurice J. Scott. But when it comes to your, how can I say this, philosophy, right? Okay. On love, marriage, and war, your brother Marceau has been known as the caveman. And everybody thought that you were the complete opposite of your brother. Although some people said, look, they were raised in the same household, they're brothers, so they must have similar philosophies. What's happening now is people are thinking that you're as much as a caveman as Marceau. So what do you have to say about all of that?
I don't think that I'm a caveman. I think that traditional men have a perspective, and we kind of grew up. Well, part of my life was in a traditional household. My dad went to work. He did all of the outside, and my mom, she basically raised us. And
Same here, by the way, Detroit father. So exact same concept.
So when Carlos, is married with children, he's going to feel the exact same way that we do.
How do you know I don't feel that way already? But go ahead.
Ew, I hope that he does not feel that way. But then again, it's obvious that he does. The fact that he keeps on having these male chauvinistic, Leave It to Beaver thinking men on these shows, which is disgusting to me. Gross.
You said we both grew up with Black fathers who were the head of the household, very traditional, brought home the bacon. Our mothers were housewives. They took care of the family because we both come from large families of siblings. And I'm always interested in how straight Black men think, which is why I'm able to do the job that I'm doing, right? Because I love to get the perspective. One thing that I'm realizing in my research, if you want to call it, but I love it. I'll give them shout outs like Earn Your Leisure was more about finance. But even relationship podcast, I'm obsessed with how Black straight men think. And the reason why I think Love and Marriage Huntsville is the #1 show on OWN, congratulations, is because it's an opportunity for...
Let me start off by saying I think that it is wonderful that Love and Marriage Huntsville is the #1 show on OWN, but let's just keep it a buck. What is it going up against that it's the #1 show on OWN? Because the ratings show that they're getting between 200 and 300,000 viewers a week, and that's not good. Those are very low ratings. So, what is it going up against? Old episodes of Oprah's Soul Food Sundays? What is it up against? Because that's not saying much that it's the #1 show on OWN. Let's just keep it a buck.
Especially women, to hear how men are thinking. And one thing I've learned through watching these podcasts and even watching this show and knowing you guys are very traditional. Mm-hmm. And what I find interesting is at the end of the day, your wife married you knowing you had these traditions. So let me ask you this, because you obviously, you graduated valedictorian law school, which I can't even fathom. I can't fathom what that must feel like to know that as a Black man from Pontiac, humble beginnings, to graduate, not #2, valedictorian of law school is an accomplishment like no other. What I want to talk to you about, though, is when it comes to the perception that people have of how straight Black married men should act and behave, why do you think it's such a hot topic when men say, I want things designed in this way based on tradition, not knowing that, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a large amount of women who want that as well. They may not be as loud with it, but they want it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. Look at how many. This is the dynamic that nobody really wants to talk about. Okay, and we can bring it all the way back. It's a system that was designed to separate Black families. That's something relatively. If we go back through time, that's something that's relatively new, right? Even in slavery, people were getting married and families were getting torn apart for that very reason, right? But even post-slavery, the Black family lived together, grew together, everything. It's like 70s and beyond is when you start seeing a whole bunch of breaking up of the family. And systematically, that's when the attack happened, right? If you look at the demise of African American families, that happened from the 70s on, and I'm a 70s baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to see that there, when we look back, we see a whole bunch of tradition on television, right? Even in the early 80s, the Cosby Show was a really big show because you saw successful Black families going through life. Now you're not gonna have a situation where you're problem free. You're gonna have problems no matter what. But how do you deal with it, from two different perspectives?
I gotta disagree with that because a lot of marriages that our grandparents or great grandparents were in were a lot of loveless, selfless marriages where women were taught to keep your mouth shut, be happy somebody married you, cook and clean, do as your husband says, speak when spoken to. A lot of women back then were being mentally, physically abused by their husbands. They were in relationships with alcoholic men, deadbeat husband, deadbeat fathers, irresponsibility, addiction, all types of things were being tolerated back then. That's why a lot of Black marriages stayed together back in those days, because women were taught to be inferior and to just shut up and be pretty much, and allow the man to come and go as he please and he can do what he want. Now, not to say that there weren't marriages that were loving, like my grandparents were in a loving marriage, but my grandfather had his ways as well. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of marriages back then, whether you were white or Black, it didn't matter, were women dealing with crap that they should not have to have dealt with. So I don't think that's such a good analogy for you to be making, Beignet.
But now what we've seen is a meteoric rise in Black women as the head of household. They're responsible for everything. Mass incarceration has led to a lot of this, right? So they've grown a dual responsibility, mother and father. So
I don't feel like mass incarceration has anything to do with why women have had to step up, because women have been the backbone of the household for centuries, where we allow the man to basically honestly believe that they running things, but really we pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes anyway. Now, not to say that there are not men out there that do know how to lead and be leaders and run a smooth household, because there are. But in a lot of cases, women have had to be the backbone of their family because we're smarter and we're more superior than men. We're trained, honestly, to be Teflon tough and to be able to survive through bullcrap. We're stronger. Men are weak when it comes to certain things in life. They will buckle and fold, honey.
What made you decide to go there and proposing to her after waiting 7 years of dating her? Was it because you wanted to take things slow? Was it because you really wanted to navigate, like, I need to know if me and this woman on the same page based on our traditions?
I'll tell you, I think there's a couple different things. Number one is your memory is really, really good, by the way. In essence, I told Kimmy that, we're not going to be compatible because you want to lead right? And I didn't have the foresight at the time to see that she had to leave. Not that she wanted to.
And I feel like Kimmy should be the one to lead their household because he showed the hell can't do it. just be keeping a buck. Just keep it honest. Like Kimmy is way more thoughtful, smarter, responsible with her thinking, with her words than Maurice is. I think that a lot of the negative aspects of the relationship wouldn't exist if she was the leader of that household.
She actually had to. If she didn't lead, who was going to lead? So she said that she didn't really want to, but if you're going to take the lead, then brother, you're going to have to be a good ass leader because I've been leading, right? So I understand that perspective. And I think that strengthened the dynamic because with the understanding that she's a leader already, that means that you have to be on your P's and Q's about your decisions. Now, mind you, every decision that we have, there may be some clashing of decisions, but it has to be a sharp. You have to think your way through these decisions, And all of my decisions, even the ones that come on TV, they can be challenged, The whole thought process of bringing Kiowa down here so that I can raise my son was one that, oh my God, I never thought we were going to get that kind of blowback behind that decision. But, everybody says what they do. Every woman says, I really want my baby's dad to have a role in his life, or I really want him to do whatever for his kids until he's really to do whatever for his kid. That was a whatever type of decision, right?
So, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? You see
I think it's great that Maurice wanted to be in his son's life on an everyday basis because you don't see a lot of fathers step up in that regard. But let's be honest with the situation. It doesn't seem like what he's doing is working. Monster is failing in school. He's not getting good grades. He does not help out around the house. He doesn't even feel comfortable opening up to his own father about how he's feeling and thinking because Maurice is such a helicopter father and lecturer that the boy don't even feel comfortable telling him how he feels. So it ain't working in my eyes.
The dynamic is like, I'll pay for a whole house for me to have my son and raise him. If it makes it easier, right? That's one side of it. The other side is when you look at a woman, and this is for just in general, in audience, whatever, okay? If you look at a person, not just a woman, but if a guy, I'm looking at it from a guy's perspective. If a guy looks at a woman and it looks like $1 million is laying on the ground and everybody's walking past it, you kind of want to know, why are people walking past that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
At first you're like, is it really $1 million? And then you go over it and you start thumbing through the money, and the next day you bring one of those testers and you start testing the money. This is real. After a while, is this a setup? Should I pick this up? Are they watching whatever? You're going through your mind like, why is this here? That's kind of the way I felt with Kimmy. Like, she got to be either crazy. It has to be something that's going on. Why is this so good and it's not off the market?
Okay, I'm following. So it was Kimmy was too good to be true.
Absolutely.
And what you wanted to, this is why, listen, I am not a straight black man, and this is why I make sure to listen to this show, you guys, the podcast I listen to, because I like to make sure that I have a vast view of how people think.
And he's exactly right. Kimmy was too good to be true. And he knew that she was too good to be true because he was thinking, honestly, truly, what he was thinking is, how can I land a woman like her? Why would she even want to be with a man like me? Because she had her stuff together. You recognize the fact that Maurice didn't become the Maurice that we see today until he was connected to who? He wasn't able to soar and thrive until he got connected to who? Much like Mel, his blessings have come through Kimmy, his wife. He knows that she's the prize in that relationship. He knows it. He 100% knows it, but has flipped it in such a way that she thinks that he's the prize. Child, please. Child, please. Child, please. Because when he was connected to Kiowa, he was fat. He was doing whatever it was he was doing, cutting her, whatever. His life wasn't thriving like it is now that he's connected to Kimmy. All blessings have come through her, child. Kim, you better wake up.
One thing I've learned about men is they're waiting for the shoe to fall off. Like, you too good to be true. When is the crazy side gonna come? Now look, you did wait 7 years, brother, and I think
that's true.
I think in 3 years we could have known that.
Welcome to my world. It's typical.
But to each his own. Obviously, you were married prior, so again, who wants to get married twice and mess up that one? Ask Steve Harvey. He talked to us about that. So now that we have this blended family, Kiowa is back on the show this season. When we first met Monster was this cute kid, right? Like this cute kid who was just trying to figure out this stepmom that he had in terms of, this is my new normal. This man is now a teenager. He's a man. First of all, before I get to the question, a lot of people are upset that y'all still call him Monster. And they want you to stop calling this black man Monster. What do you have to say about that?
Monster's a very polarizing figure, right? And if they call 50 Cent Monster, everybody was like, man, Monster's out here doing it, right? On the football field, you say he's balling, they call him a monster. If you see a tycoon out here in business, they call him a monster. It's polarizing because you can also see a person in prison and they'll call him a monster, right? At the end of the day, my son is getting the input from not just me, but everybody around him is successful. He's going to be a monster. He's already a monster too.
So the way you see the word monster is not the negative connotation of but it's fine. I'm about to say beast, but beast can also be seen a positive way. So monster is not that he's this perceived murderer, gang, or like this horrible person. You see it more as, my son is a monster because he's going to become a beast in business and in his life and create his own, wealth based on the foundation that we left. So that's the reason why the name became what it was.
Absolutely. It initially started out as Daddy's Little Monster, and then the Daddy's Little part dropped off. So then it was like it stuck. A threatening force. These are some of the definitions of monster. So I want people to know: a threatening force, a person of unnatural or extreme ugliness, deformity, wickedness, or cruelty, one that is highly successful. That's a definition of monster. Look it up, Merriam-Webster. So it's polarizing.
It don't matter how he tries to swear. Calling that young black boy Monster is a horrible nickname because the world already looks at him as a young black man like he is a monster. So why perpetuate it by calling him a monster and drilling that into his head every day, especially with him being a chocolate boy, okay? That the world is already going to look at him like he is a menace, like he is a threat. And while you breaking down the definition, let's not skim past the fact that the definition of monster means a threatening force, not a threatening force like a threatening force in business or in life. A threatening force meaning somebody that is physically going to threaten or harm you. That's what that means, sir. And the other part of that definition that you tried to skim past was extreme ugliness, deformity, wickedness, or cruelty. Why would you want your son to be attached to such verbiage? And it's a horrible name. Let's just think about if Monster was a girl. Would you be calling him sexy? That's the connotation that the word monster is associated with this young boy. Think about if it was a girl and y'all gave her the nickname Sexy. People would be looking at y'all like, what type of weirdo crap are y'all on? It's the same thing, sir. It's horrible. It's nasty. It's not cute. No. If you want him to be associated with wealth and success, call him rich. Call him divine. Call him angel. Call him God's child. I don't know. Call him success. Give him something that has a positive connotation behind it. Because monster, sir, ain't it. It ain't it at all. Because I know you don't like the fact that I call you country crock or unsalted butter or beignet or crepe or buffoon, coon, porch monkey. You wouldn't like that, would you? No.
He's going to be highly successful. We'll check back in on Reality with the King in about 10 years. All right, y'all? Meet me back here in 10 years. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you this. Today, we're 2 days past 6/22/22? Okay. I'm in a different world right now, guys. God let Kimmy live.
And congratulations on that. So is it a year or 2 years?
It's a year. It's 1 year.
All of this in 1 year.
In 1 year. I'm like, bro, I'm on 12 right now. So
my audience knows June 22nd is when Kimmy found out she was diagnosed with breast cancer. We're celebrating a year later that our girl is cancer free, and I don't know why it seemed like it was long ago, but it's been a short year. But it goes to show you God's favor and grace and mercy on Kimmy's life. And it's beautiful to even acknowledge that. And we're going to keep acknowledging that. Going back to Monster, talk to me about the conversation you and Kimmy had today while y'all were at the painting scene in tonight's episode, where she strongly feels that Monster doesn't have enough chores to do that helps her out. That what you're doing is giving him these boot camp activities to where he has to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and do these exercises. And the exercises that Kimmy wants him to do includes washing dishes and helping clean up the crib. So, and you seem to struggle with that. Why is that a struggle? Is it because, let's have an honest conversation. Mm-hmm. Is it because I, like you, grew up in a household to where me included, me and my 6 brothers were not responsible for cleaning. My sisters were. We were responsible for shoving the snow, taking out the trash, and doing quote unquote manly stuff. Is that your thought process when it comes to your son?
Not really, but I can understand how that could be perceived, right? It's just not, I'll be honest with you, man. The cleanliness of your room is not that high on my list. You getting good grades in school, that matters, because that's something that people in the outside world make judgment calls on.
So you want your son to be a smart dirt ball. Make it make sense, sir. You have heard the terminology cleanliness is close to godly or next to godliness. You want to raise a smart young man that is successful but trifling. What woman wants to date a man that don't know how to clean up and behind himself? I'd be damned if I go over a man's house and I don't care how rich, smart, successful he is, and he got a nasty tail house because nobody ever taught him how to clean up. Got food, clothes thrown everywhere, bathroom nasty, piss, boo-boo stains all in the toilet, clothes thrown everywhere, all because I'm rich and I'm successful, but I can be nasty because my dad told me that he would be more proud of me if I got great grades in school, but he didn't care about me having to clean up and behind myself. That's disgusting, and it says a lot about you that you nasty as well. That's nasty and it's trifling. Don't no woman want to be with no nasty tail man. That's something that I drill into Kyrie's head. Women, inspect that type of stuff when they come over to your house to see how you live. Unless she a trifling, nasty heifer Like, that's disgusting. And for you to have that type of mentality, once again, you're not helping your son at all. You're not helping him with this mindset of yours. You're actually taking him back several steps in life. Like, I feel sorry for this young man with the type of parenting that you are teaching him. That's disgusting.
Right? You performing well when you, in whatever you do, right? I'm working on the training as far as behaviors are concerned. And if you keep your room clean or not, that doesn't necessarily translate over into other things. Now, if I see studies that say cleaning up your room is going to help you get better grades, hey, we're starting at the room getting clean.
Well, sir, studies do show that aside from the benefits of having a cleaner home, the relationship between a clean house and mental health can help you reduce your anxiety. According to a study by Nicole Keith, PhD, a research scientist and professor at Indiana University, people with clean houses tend to be healthier than those with messy or cluttered homes. In fact, cleanliness was even more a predicator of good health than the walkability of a neighborhood. Ooh. Cleaning a home burns calories and is also good for our body because it releases endorphins or feel-good chemicals within the brain. Therefore, activities like cleaning, decluttering, and organizing the home reduce anxiety and has a positive effect on our mental health. I also am a firm believer that when you live in clutter and nastiness, it reflects in how you move in your everyday life. I feel like if you're living in filth, you're not able to think straight. And if you're not able to think straight, how can you strive to be successful, Maurice?
How did it feel to know that the world is now witness to the fact that your wife admitted that sometimes she fakes her orgasms?
Hey, Carlos, this is before I get there. What I'm not going to let you do is compound questions anymore. That was good, though. It was good. So I did. Listen.
Am I pulling a Scott on a Scott?
Oh, no, this is a Carlos on me. You did this to me on a reunion. Let me tell you something. I didn't object then, and I'm going to object now. Okay.
Come on, credit one after hours. Continue.
Listen, number one, the first time when we had that conversation with Dr. Francis, that was before, right? That was before we found out that Kimmy had cancer.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't want to make it seem like it's both. No, absolutely. I was giving context in terms of prior to the cancer diagnosis, you were very sexual. So I wanted to add context that
he's acting like that is not still his mind frame today. While she was going through breast cancer, it was still pertinent for her to be sexual even while she was battling a life-threatening illness. So make it make sense, sir. You said it then and you said it during her fight for survival.
Listen, you literally cannot have a bad attitude if you're having sex twice a day. It's impossible. Listen, it's such a calming force that you cannot be upset. Go.
I don't know where he got that lie from, especially for Kimmy's sake when she's dealing with battling breast cancer, not getting the help that she needs around the house, and having a selfish, immature partner like Maurice who basically is demanding sex from her when she has no physical desire to do so. Yeah, I could still have an attitude afterwards, sir. That don't even make sense. But this is coming from Maurice. Maurice is literally one of those people that are so smart, he's dumb. He is book smart, but life dumb.
Understanding Kimmy's diagnosis, what she's going through, because all you want to do is make sure you get what you need. Mm-hmm. Are you that much of a sexual person to where, despite what she's going through right now, you still feel like there's a happy medium in terms of her pleasuring you?
This is what I'll say, because this is very difficult, right? There's a difference between wants and needs, all right? And I'm a person who actually needs sex, not a person who wants sex. Now, at times I want it, but I actually need it. So life throws us curveballs like what we're going through right now. And what Kimmy is doing is admirable as a spouse. To roll over and suffer through it, I was hoping it wouldn't be a suffering, a sufferable moment, but she rolls over and suffers through it, fakes it all for me. Because at that moment, it's something that she completely didn't desire, right? And I kind of look at it as if, and this is, all jokes aside, I look at it as her standing by me while I'm standing by her.
But how are you standing by her when you, like you just said, are making her suffer through something that she does not want to do? That's not standing by somebody. That's guilt tripping them into feeding into your own selfish desires and wants despite what she's going through. While this woman is over here fighting for her life, the last thing that you should be making her worry about is cleaning and cooking in their house and pleasuring you sexually. But that just goes to show how much of a self-centered, selfish bastard that this man is. Like, this whole conversation is just so disgusting to me as a breast cancer survivor. I didn't go through chemotherapy like Kimmy did, but I did have a lumpectomy. I had a breast reduction surgery on top of that, and I had to go through 6 weeks of radiation, 5 days a week for 6 weeks. I had to have radiation, and radiation is basically your skin pretty much being burned 5 days a week for 6 weeks. While it's happening, you feel no physical pain. It's the after effects of the laser treatments where your skin is literally being burned, okay? Your skin feels like it's on fire. All right. I had to put aloe vera on my skin to help cool down the burning sensation. So just imagine you having to get up out of your bed every day, 5 days a week, to go to the oncologist, the radiation oncologist's office, go undress from the waist up, go into this room, lay down on this table. These machines and stuff are all in your face. You have to put your arms above your head and hold on to this bar. You have to turn your face so your face won't get, radiated in the process. They have to line you up to the measurements of what your radiation oncologist wants so that the radiation doesn't affect any of your organs or heart or any of the other areas of your body. Then you go through the laser process, which you have to hold your breath while it's going. Then you have to get up, go back in your dressing room, get redressed, leave to do it all over again the next day, 5 days a week for 6 weeks. Okay. And every day your body is getting burned. Let me show you the effects of radiation, just in case you don't know how it looks and how it feels to go through the process. This is me. This is how my skin looked winding down to the last maybe 2 weeks of my radiation treatment. Skin burned. This is how it looked underneath my breast, my left breast. Your skin is literally peeling off every day. It literally feels like your skin is on fire. Like I said, I had to put aloe vera, aqua 4, all of these different creams on my skin every day during this process and after the process is over. And let's not forget that once your treatments are done, that doesn't mean that the journey is over, because you still have to go see your doctors 4 times a year, okay? For the first 2 years, and then it gets knocked down to you just having to see maybe 2 twice a year, and you have to have your mammogram. My mammogram is on the way up in August, and just that alone is just so scary, because each time you're so scared and fearful that when you get your mammogram and then they make you go sit in this little tiny room afterwards, and then the nurse will come and say, you're either fine, you can go home, or they're going to tell you, you need to come and talk to the doctor. And if you have to go talk to the doctor, that means that they see something. And That alone is scary as hell because you're wondering, did it come back? If it did come back, is it worse than before? Has the cancer spread? Will it be more aggressive this time? Once you get breast cancer, the fight is not over, because every year up until your 5 or 10 year mark, you're fearful that it's going to come back. And you have to live with that fear for the rest of your life, on top of having to take whatever medication that they want you to take. I'm on anastrozole for the next 5 years of my life. I have to take this pill every day of my life. Every day. So to go through all of this, not only physically, mentally, spiritually, because you are calling on God more than you ever had in your life, because you're afraid that, oh my God, I could die. Oh my God, I'm going through this pain from the surgeries, from the radiation. She went through chemo, losing her hair, the nausea, the neuropathy in your hands where your fingertips actually feel like they're like numb and tingly. I went through neuropathy in my fingertips. The losing weight, can't keep food down. All of these different things that the chemo patients have to go through, on top of radiation, and you are so selfish and insecure or whatever you got going on that you are demanding this woman to lay down and have sex with you, when the last thing that's on her mind is sex. Because her skin is literally on fire. It's literally peeling. It's uncomfortable. Radiation makes you so tired that you can't do anything else but go to sleep. It's not like when you get sleepy and your body is saying, okay, let's take a quick nap. No, this is the type of exhaustion where your body completely shuts down on you and you can't do anything but succumb to it and go to sleep. You're tired. It's not fatigue. It's literally exhaustion. And to have somebody want to lay on top of you while you're going through all of this, because they are in so much need of sex, it's so selfish, bro. So selfish. Anything that you want or need during that time period should have been put so far behind you on the back burner, where everything should have been about this woman and her wants and her needs and her desires. But you so damn immature and childish, and you got a sex addiction that you need to be seeking counseling for, because what is that about that you need sex so bad every damn day? Did somebody touch on you inappropriately? Were you exposed to PORN at a young age? Like, what is going on with you, sir? Because that ain't got nothing to do with Kimmy. That has to do with you. Did you have this so-called sex addiction when you was married to Kiowa? I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't. Like, this dude is just so trash to me. So trash. And I don't know what type of woman Kimmy is to allow this type of behavior. Maybe she don't think that it's wrong, but from a breast cancer survivor like myself, I wish a nigga would. I wish a nigga would play with me in that type of situation when I'm going through what I'm going through. Are you out your God-forsaken mind? And the fact that she gotta come to you about your teenage son not helping her around the house while she going through this, all of y'all are trash. Trash human being. That lady shouldn't have had to lift a finger when she was going through what she was going through, while she's still going through what she's going through, bro. And then you talking about it was her supporting you like you supporting her. That ain't supporting her at all. At all. If she wanted to have sex, you let that be something that she decided to do, not something that you pressured her or demanded of her to do. You should feel icky knowing that she's not getting any type of pleasure out of it and she laying there faking for you. That's nasty. That's weird, bro. Also, you can get a nut that you can honestly get on your own. Girl, I ain't got time, because this man gonna make me cuss him out. Like, that's weirdo type of behavior to me, bro. Straight weirdo type of behavior. I could not be married to a Negro like him at all, on any type of circumstance. And the fact that Carlos didn't even say anything, like just laughing about it or just nodding his head and seem like sympathizing with, it's just disgusting, bro. Like, I'm over it. Like, I'm honestly getting to the point where I don't even want to review these shows anymore. That's how like disgusted I am about it. And I don't even want to deal with it. It's just it make me feel icky at this point. And I don't care about the views and the money behind it. Like, at some point it's starting to play with my moral beliefs. And I can't support seeing black men treat black women any type of way, because we're already disrespected on an everyday basis. And then to see black men that are married to black women treat them with so much disregard, I can't stomach it. I really can't. I really can't stomach it. And I don't know how much more I'm gonna be able to take. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this piss poor interview. I don't even know why I did this, because it literally has triggered me and I'm upset now. I love you guys. Let's talk about it down below in the comment section. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.